Hi. I'm one of those guys who's always been prepared to walk the distance. What do I mean by that? You see so many people, they'll drive around a car park looking for the spot closest to the doorway in which they've got to go in. In other words, they're reluctant to walk maybe 100 yards or even a couple of 100 yards if they can get away with only having to walk 20 feet. I've never been that way. And consequently, my legs at 89 are still good. I don't use a walking stick. I don't have a walker. And I certainly don't have one of those mobile things that you can sit on and drive around the place. I still use my legs. What about you? Are you one of those lazy people who have to park as close as you can to? Or are you prepared to walk the distance? Makes a big difference later on in life. So many people, 20 years younger than me, hobbling around on walking sticks and of course leaning onto walkers. And you think to yourself, why is this? Is it because of the way they've led their lives earlier in life? I don't want to sound like I'm preaching here, but the fact is, walking is nature's best exercise. And being able to walk, say, through a park, listening to the birds singing and so forth, is one of the pleasures in life. People go in Australia, they go on bushwalks. In other places of the world, they go into the wilderness and walk on trails, carrying backpacks, and they thoroughly enjoy it. This is the way our legs are supposed to be meant, are supposed to be used. For walking, not for putting on in chairs under desks like I'm doing now. Admittedly, I do a lot of that. Today we're geared to sitting down. We sit down in buses, we sit down in taxis, we sit down at home, we sit down on park benches. Fair enough. This is okay. But there comes a time, of course, when the strut becomes a plod. And as you get older, it does. And with me, maybe not a plod, but certainly not the vigour of old. But lately, about 2 weeks ago, I found I was getting pain under one big toe, my left foot. And it took all the fun out of walking. And I found that I was compensating, walking a little bit pigeon-toed with that leg, which meant, of course, it put your whole leg out of joint, right up to the hip joint. And I thought I'd better do something about this. So I went along and saw a podiatrist, and he said, "This is very commonplace, Tom. This is commonplace. It's a callus which has turned into a corn. The corn is growing into a sharp point and is causing you pain. The point of it being inside the joint of my big toe." Anyway, he fixed that up, carved a bit of it out, no blood or anything like that, and of course got me back normal walking. Clipped my toes, never been clipped professionally in my whole life, made them look very neat and tidy. So now I'm good to go again. Point I'm making here is if you have something wrong with your feet, go and see a specialist. There's something I'd never done in all my 89 years of living. Never had I seen a person to have a look at my feet professionally. Maybe it's something that you could do. If you're having trouble walking, maybe something wrong with your toes, get them looked at. Nothing shameful in that. And get back walking again. Those big limbs that stick out the back of the bottom of your body are meant to be walked on. Walk on them. It'll keep you fit, it'll keep you well, it'll give you that zest for life, And being able to walk places here and there is far better than have to hobble there or go there leaning on a walker. Get your walking practice in at least 2 or 3 times a week. Go on maybe a 15-20 minute walk, fairly brisk, and it'll stand you into good stead right into your old age. As I've said almost ad nauseum lately, I turn 90 now in less than 6 months. April, I turn 90. I'm still fit and well. You could do the same. Look after yourself. Look after your body. You only get issued with one in a lifetime.